are on our way to Central Kalahari Game Reserve. This was established in 1961 more as a reserve for the San people to maintain their lifestyle and so on. And it became a game reserve where people could go in the 80s. The San people have been around Southern Africa for thousands of years. They were the first inhabitants of Southern Africa anyway. So you still get little communities within the Central Kalahari Game Reserve. They do walks for people. I don't think it's likely that we will see any San people, but you can go to San villages and so on, and you can walk with them and talk with them, and they are normal people. There was no citizenship when San people were roaming Southern Africa. But now there is, and governments are responsible for their social welfare as well, so it's become a bit more complex. We are now on our way to a town called Rakops, where we will just refuel, and then from there hit about 3 hours or so of sand road. We have been driving through this custard powder sand for quite some time now. Just look how the sand comes off the wheels of this oncoming vehicle. Look at that, all that dust. So we've arrived here at Matswera Gate. That's Matswera Gate. We still have 54 kilometers to go. They do sell wood here, but we don't have any space there for wood. 50 pulla bundle. Those same bundles of wood you can get for 20 pounds outside. So we've arrived at our campsite, CKSUN 01, Leopard Pan, here in Central Kalahari Game Reserve. So let's show you around the campsite and to give you some sort of appreciation for bush camping. I'm standing in the middle of the site where the fireplaces are. That's the drive into this camp. Those are the ablutions. So let's have a look there quickly. And furthermore, there's just thick grass all around. Long drop. That's it. The shower. Supposed to operate in a bucket pulley system. There's no bucket. The pulley wire is off. So it's late afternoon now. The camp has been cleared up. We've had our lunch. Well, that's probably dinner, but we have it during the daytime because of animals. So we don't want to be food ourselves, which is why we always keep a lookout. We've cleared up all the bits that might be attractive to animals. While we'd like to see them, we don't necessarily want them snuffing around too much, especially the big cats. Honey badgers, very ferocious, but something one can deal with. And hyenas, something one can deal with. So there's the camp, all cleared up. So it's just us having to settle in for the night. Car's just idling to charge a battery, which will power the fridge. Other than that, we're all good. So we'll catch you then in the morning. Ciao for now. Well, it's the next day and we are packed up and ready to leave this campsite with its rudimentary ablutions for another campsite with equally rudimentary ablutions. Excuse the diesel clatter. It is necessary as far as we can to keep our batteries charged and keeping the fridge cool, of course. So it was lovely. We haven't seen or heard any big animals. It was a bit scary. You know, you're out in the bush. The bush is right here. If something were to be stalking you, you wouldn't stand a chance, I don't think. And so we've arrived at CK Deception 06. We'll stick the tent over here. There's a fire pit. from some distance away. But anyway, there is the camp. And we're going to go about setting up now. And we'll see in a bit. What's this? Well, this belonged to an oryx one time. Lunch is over. We'll go for a bit of a drive. We've had some visitors to the camp. Not sure what the situation is with them. Suppose it's got to do with water. But there they are. Not sure whether you can hear them. Bit of a buzz going on. Anyway, we are going to go for a drive east, still to recharge the battery. So it's a portable battery bank, which we use to charge keep the fridge going overnight. So no solar panels, which in retrospect maybe we should have or should have had, but nevertheless it is what it is. So we use a very expensive generator, 4-cylinder diesel, to keep the power going. Anyway, it's off at the moment, but we're going to go for a spin just now, so that'll get going again. So it's morning again and it's time to go. The camping was nice. This is quite a big campsite, unlike the one at Leopard Pan, which was really cramped and you had the bush right up against the campsite so you couldn't see. This was a bit more comfortable. So you got greater space to see what's cooking. So we got to the part of the road with the custard powder. Once we get going, it will put up a dust cloud very disproportionate to the speed with which we'll be going. Quite strange. We are off to Maun, and I've heard many different pronunciations now already. Maun, Maun, Maun. I had a fourth one the other day, Mau, without the N at the end. So anyway, we'll attempt to see if we can't find a fifth one too. It seems that the pronunciation or the name stems from Maung, M-A-U-N-G. So I think Maun with an N at the end is probably the most appropriate pronunciation, but who knows with these things. So we headed to Maun now, and we'll find out if it's still Maun when we get there or if it's something else. Okay, so on we go. We've left the outskirts of Rakops. We're on the tar road. As we've been going along, we've just been noticing how many animals there are. Domestic animals. Goats, lots of goats, lots and lots of donkeys, lots and lots of horses. The horses and the cattle, they go together. Lots of cattle, they kind of operate together. And I'm not sure which one thinks is which. The horses think they're cattle and the cattle think they're horses, but in any case they're all together. The goats go their own way, and donkeys, of course, they do their own thing. The other thing that is also quite peculiar is that you see wrecks of cars that have been pulled off the verge to the edge of the undergrowth or the bushes. So if the car has been wrecked, it just gets pulled there and then it gets stripped of all its usable parts, I assume. But you'll just see this shell of a vehicle. Often you'll see the shell of a vehicle. So if we see one or two, we might capture that for you. Something else that we also be looking at is, we don't know what it is, but it looks like, I was just saying maybe a post box, but it's some sort of, it means something of some sort. And maybe somebody can tell us what these are. But there are different homesteads along the side of this road, and outside you'll see like a tree trunk or something with some sort of marking on it, either like a tank, not a tank, but like a plastic bottle of a particular color, blue or yellow or red. I think it signifies something, but what exactly at this stage is not clear. So here's a donkey wanting to cross the road. Okay, he's changed his mind. His 3 pals are still sitting there. Okay, alrighty, on we go. It is the next morning and we are sitting here in a helicopter on the apron at Maun airport. As you can hear, the engine is just warming up and then we can be on our way. Now the sun is just about coming up. In fact, it's just peeking over the horizon. And I've got the back seat to myself. There are no doors, so I can poke the camera out in both directions. So I'm actually quite excited to go on this far. So let's go and see what we can see. Okay, here we go. I hope you can hear me. The engine is so loud. We are wearing headsets here in the helicopter so that we can speak to each other. But I put my mic on top of my head and I'm speaking and they're not responding, so I know they can't hear me, but I hope you can hear me because I can hardly hear myself speaking. Anyway, just going up now. We're supposed to go up to about 500 feet. And then, wow, look at that sunset. Actually, that's a sunrise. It's a sunrise. Anyway, yeah, 500 feet and then we'll fly for about 40 minutes. What do you say? Okay, we're going forward, he says. We're going to fly for 40 minutes or so. So, it's loud in the wind. This is Maun here at the bottom. We're just entering the delta now, and there are settlements here in the beginning stages of the delta. I don't know how you would feel about flying in a small but very noisy helicopter over the Okavango Delta very early on a winter's morning, but I can tell you that I feel fantastic. We're just about to land now, and perhaps you might want to put this on your list of things to do too when you're here. We spent a good 45 minutes in the Robinson R44. Not my favorite helicopter, but it was just the two of us, so I suppose that was what we needed to use, and we did, and it worked. We are back down safely. We are on our way back home now after 27 days away, but we just learned something in the town there at the back about the sand people. So I'll tell you that while we wait for the food to cross the road. Now, in 1997, the San were forced off the land in the Central Kalahari Game Reserve because they had found diamonds there. And their water holes were closed and hunting was banned. So they went to court and they won the case and they were allowed back onto the land. And then they had to go to court again. And they won that case for water to be restored. But hunting still remains banned today. So the San had actually lost access to the land that they roamed in all of southern Africa. For 150,000 years they roamed this land, and laws and modernity changed their lifestyle, and it will never be the same again.